See here if we observe in the main function, so we have like three objects, that is my box one, my cube and my clone. Okay, so in case of my box one, that is we have passed the values 10, 20 and 15 to the constructor. Okay, and in case of my cube, we have passed the value 7. So this particular line, when this particular line is executed, box constructor is executed where we have three parameters. So you can consider this constructor, that is box double W, H and D. Okay, this constructor will be executed. Next, so when we consider the line box my cube is equals to new box of 7, when this particular line is executed, then we can consider the constructor where one parameter is there, that is box double that is length len. So only one value is passed here, so that value is copied to width, height and depth. Okay, next, so when we consider box my clone equals to new box of my box one, so here constructor is executed where one parameter is there, because if you observe in the parenthesis I have written my box one, that is one parameter it is. Okay, and that parameter should be object. Okay, it should not be no normal value, it should be an object. So we can consider the constructor, so that is first constructor where parameter is an object. So how we can say parameter is an object means, if you observe the parameter list, okay, OB is an object because box is a class name. So wherever we write the class name, so in front of that, if we declare the variable, that becomes the object. So here first time what I have written box, this is the constructor name. So in the parenthesis, I have written the box, that is that you should consider it as a class name. Okay. So in front of that, the word OB is there, that is nothing but an object. Okay, so pass object to the constructor. So this constructor will be called. Okay. Next, so according to that, if we look at the diagram, so if we look at the diagram, so here when box my box one is equals to new box, if that line is executed, so 10 will be copied to W, 20 will be copied to H, 15 will be copied to D. In turn, these values are copied to width, height and depth respectively. So we can consider like my box 1 is an object which contains the values 10, 20 and 15 for width, height and depth. Okay. Next. So if we consider the line box my cube equals new box of 7, so 7 will be copied to the variable len, that is length. That value will be copied to the width, height and depth. So this is called multiple assignment statement. That is, if you want to assign one value to more than one variable, we can use this statement. Okay. So for width, height and depth of my cube object, so it contains value 7. Okay. Next. So when we come to the statement box, my clone is equals to new box of my box. So here it is actually my box 1. So 1 is not printed here. So it is my box 1. So when this particular line is executed, okay, you look at the arrow mark, that object itself is passed to the constructor. Okay, we can say reference of that object. So when reference of that object is passed, what happens? So you can consider like whatever the values present in my box 1, the same values we can consider for box OB object. Okay, in the constructor it is the OB object. Okay, just like object reference, same memory, different objects in this sense object reference. Okay, and same values. So if you look at the diagram, my box 1 and OB contains the same values 10, 20 and 15. So this arrow mark indicates object reference. Okay, next. Okay. So here what happens, like, so OB dot width is equals to width. The meaning of this is, again, how we have to understand here is, left hand side, whatever the value is there, that is width, height and depth. Okay, width, height and depth, left hand side of equals to, that you should consider for my clone object. Remember that you should consider for my clone object. And right hand side, what you are looking at width, height and depth, that is OB dot width, OB dot height, OB dot depth, that you should consider for my box 1. That means from my box 1 we are copying into my clone. In that way we have to understand. So left hand side variables indicates to the object my clone, right hand side variables indicates to the object my box 1. So from my box 1 we are copying into my clone. So only what happens, my clone will be the new object created. My clone will be the new object created, which contains the same values of my box 1. Okay, so in this line also, if you observe, there is an equals to operator, that is assignment operator. Left hand side, my clone object is there. Right hand side, box of my box one is there. So that from right hand side, it is copied to left hand side. So how we are copying? First, we are sending that object reference to the constructor. In the constructor, we are copying the values of width, height, and depth of my box one to the width, height, and depth of my clone object. So if you see finally what happens, my box one object, it is already there. So whatever we have drawn the memory representation for my box one, same thing here. In addition to that, my clone will be the new object created, which contains the same values of my box one. Okay, my clone will be the new object it is created, which contains the same values of my box one. So before my clone object is created, how it happens is first object reference is created. That is, OB is an object reference for my box one and OB object reference. So whatever the values present for my box one, that will be copied to OB. Okay, and later you can consider OB and my clone. So object reference here. So 10, 20, and 15, same values. So at the end, what happens finally? My clone will be the new object created, which contains the values of my box one, that is 10, 20, and 15. So here, my box one contains 10, 20, and 15. My clone contains 7, all the values 7, and sorry, my cube contains 7. Finally, my clone contains the values of my box one only. So once volumes are calculated for all these three things, okay, that is for my box one, my cube, and my clone. Look here. So volume is equals to my box one dot volume. You have to consider the values of my box one. Volume is equals to my cube dot volume. You have to consider the values of my cube. That is 7. One value, it is cube, right? And volume is equals to my clone dot volume. You have to consider the values of my clone. That is nothing but the values of my box one only, because we got the my clone object by using my box one only. So these are the values. So this is the output you can consider. Okay. Volume is 3000, that is my box one, 343 for my cube, and volume of clone is also 3000 because it's same value as my box one. Okay. Okay, so this is about the program. Yesterday we have already discussed, but once again we have discussed. Okay, next we will move to the topic argument passing. Okay. See, argument passing, actually we have already looked at this concept. How means, see, in the previous program only, if you see, box my clone equal to new my box of my box one, or box my cube is equals to new box of 7, or box my box one equal to new box of 10, 20, 50. These are nothing but arguments only. 10 is an argument, 20 is an argument, 15 is an argument. 3 arguments are passing. We are passing to the constructor. And on the receiving end, W, H, and D. Those are parameters. Okay. See, for arguments and parameters, that is, there are two terms, arguments and parameters. You can call by any name, but generally what they do, sender side, see here, box, my box one equal to new box of 10, 20, 15 is there, right? So 10, 20, and 15, generally it is called as arguments. W, H, and D are called as parameters. But if you call by same name also, it is not a problem. Parameter and argument both are used interchangeably. So wherever arguments term is there, you can use parameters. Wherever parameters is there, arguments. But generally, how they have made it as a habit means, like wherever sender side is here, those things are called as arguments, and the receiving side they are calling it as parameters. So here 10, 20, and 15 are the arguments. W, H, and D are the parameters. So argument passing means this is only argument passing concept is this only. But in argument passing, there are two ways. That is call by value, call by reference. Two things are there. In case of C and C++, pointer concept is there. Call by reference is nothing but pointers there. But in Java, pointers concept is not there. Instead of that, reference concept is there. Okay, object reference we have discussed, right? That concept is there. So now we will see what are these things. Okay, see if you people have remembered the concept of pointers in C++ or C language, just in the same way how to think here, where for reference. Okay. Call by value. So this approach copies the value of an argument into formal parameter of the method. Here, changes made to the parameter of the method will have no effect on the argument. See, the meaning of this is, see, as I said, two terms are the argument and parameter. So a sender side is called argument, receiving side is called as parameter. And one more term we can call, wherever you say argument, you can say actual argument. Okay, wherever you say argument, you can say actual argument. Wherever you say parameter, you can say formal parameter. Okay, so this approach copies the value of an actual argument into formal parameter of the method. See here in the previous program, I will explaining this diagram. See 10, 20 and 15 are the arguments, right? So these you can call it as actual argument or simply argument. So from actual argument, it is copied to the formal parameter. From actual argument, it is copied to the formal parameter. See, whenever it is done like that, on the receiving end, see you look at the arrow marks here, on the receiving end, compulsory variable should be there. There you cannot use constant values. See, for example, I cannot say double 10, double 20, double 15, or double 100, double 200, double 300, like that. Constant values you cannot use. On the receiving end, compulsory variable should be there. That means formal parameter should always contain variables. Whereas in case of actual arguments, it can contain values or variables. Both are allowed. You look at the last function call. Box my clone equal to new box of my box one, right? So here it is not a variable, it is an object. So it can be object or it can be a variable, values. Objects are nothing but variables only. So it can be a constant or it can be variable. That is in case of actual argument. But in case of formal argument, always variables. That you have to remember. Okay. So from actual argument, values are sent to the formal arguments. Okay. This approach copies the value of an actual argument into the formal parameter of the method. Here, changes made to the parameter of the method will have no effect on the argument. So the meaning of this is okay, we'll explain in the program what exactly it means. Next, we will go for the call by reference, just definition. In detail, we will see the program. So in this approach, a reference to an argument, not the value, is passed to the parameter. Here, changes made to the parameter will affect the argument used to call the method. Say, half of this I will explain now. In this approach, a reference to an argument, not the value, is passed to the parameter. The meaning of this is, you look at the third statement, that is box my clone equal to new box of my box one. Box my clone equal to new box of my box one. Here my box one is not a value. So you should call it as a reference. It is object reference. Just if you call it as a reference also, it is okay. It is an object, right? So we can call it as object reference. So here it is not a value, it is a reference. Whereas in other two cases, that is box my box equal to new box of 10, 20, 15, or box my cube equal to new box of 7. In these two cases, those are the values. 10, 20, 15 are the values, 7 is the value. But in the last statement, that is box my clone equal to new box of my box 1, that is not the value. My box 1 is not the value, it is a object reference. So in this case, we can say it is a call by reference. So first two from constructor calls or call by values. Last one, that is for my clone, it is called by reference. Okay. Changes made to the parameter will affect the argument used to call the method. So in program, we'll see this statement explanation. Okay. So now this is the program. Primitive types are passed by value. See, the meaning of primitive means basic types, which comes along with the programming language. So in case of Java, we have discussed in data types and variables, we have 8 basic types, right? In integer, 4 types, in floating point, 2 types, and character and double. We have 8 basic types. All those 8 types of variables can be passed by value. The meaning of primitive means basic types, where those are not classes and objects, like int, float, char, double, boolean. So these are all primitive types in case of C, C++, and Java. Okay. So when you consider primitive or basic types, it can be passed by value. Okay. And in C, C++, pointer concept is there. There even we can pass by reference also. Okay. So here class test method is immediate. Just a minute. Okay, I used a method name immediate. It's okay. So this is the function name. So you can use anything. It is an identifier. By following the identifier rules, you can write any method name here. Okay. So I and j, these are the parameters. So here I and j are called formal parameters. Okay. So in the method, what we are doing, I is equals to I into 2, j is equals to j by 2. So some calculations here, multiplication and division. So when we go to the class call by value, in the main method, test ob is equals to new test. So constructor is called here and object is created. So test is a class name, ob is an object name, new is a keyword, test is the constructor. So constructor is called, that is object is created. int a equals to 15, b is equals to 20. So I have just taken some values here. Okay, that is apart from instance variables I and j, I have taken two variables in the main function. So a is equals to 15, b is equals to 20. Next, system.out.println a and b before call. So before call in the sense, after this line, one statement is there. If you just observe, ob.math of a comma b. This is one function call, one method call here. That means we are calling the method math. Here I have used the method, right? math. This method I am calling. Okay. So after this statement is executed, I have written one statement, system.out.println a and b after call. That means I have taken a and b values, that is a equal to 15, b equals to 20. Before this statement is executed, what will be the values of a and b? After that statement is executed, what will be the values of a and b? That we have to know here. Okay. So before math function is called, math method is called. So what will be the values of a and b? After math method is called, what will be the values of a and b? So that they are telling. Why? Because in this program, you can say there is nothing changed, because a and b refers to main method. Okay, I have not used in math method at all. I have not used it at all. So it will not change at all. So a value remains 15, 20 before this method is called, and after the method is called, it will not affect. In the next program, you will come to know how it will be affected. Okay. See, why we have to consider this is, see, whenever you create variables within opening brace and closing brace, that is within a block. When you put the opening brace, it is nothing but starting of the block. When you close the brace, it is nothing but closing of the block. So whenever variables or objects are created, those variables are called as local variables. I think in C and C++, remembering in functions chapter, we come across local variables, global variables. So here, A and B are local variables with respect to, okay, respect to main method, we can say, or with respect to call by value class, whatever it is. Okay, so in particular main method, local variable. See, these variables you cannot use outside the main function, because those are local variables. Local variables means we should use within that block only. See, we have started the main block, main function block here, and we have closed it. Within this function only, how to use it. And when you are not using outside this block or in this class test, so whatever the values present before this function call and after the function call will be same. Okay. So we have printed two times. Before this function is called, this method is called. After that method is called, we have printed two times. So before and after values are same here. So just look at, see in the output, it is displaying. So A and B before call 15, 20, A and B after call 15, 20. A value is 15, B value is 20. See, why we have to understand this? Actually, it's a simple concept. See, anybody can tell that there will be no change in the values because A and B values we have not used in the math function, so it is nothing changed. But here what we have to understand is like separate memory will be created. Like for example, for A and B, memory is there. That is 2 bytes or 4 bytes of memory for integer. And if you go for I and J here in the parameter, for I, memory is created, for J also, memory is created. That is separated. That means whatever changes you make to I and J will not affect A and B. Okay, both are separated. In the next call by reference, you will come to know how it will be affected. You just look at this diagram. Test OB is equals to new test. When this line is executed, the object OB is created. So OB dot math of A comma B. A value is 15, B value is 20. A value will be copied to I, B value will be copied to J. So I is equals to I into 2, 15 into 2. 15 into 2 is nothing but 30, value is 30. J is equals to J by 2, 20 by 10. 20 by 10 is nothing but 10. So I value is 30, J value is 10. So you have to remember that I and J are the formal parameters. I and J are the formal parameters. A and B are the actual arguments, or you can say actual parameters, whatever it is. A and B are actual arguments, I and J are formal arguments. Okay. Whatever changes made to the formal arguments will not affect the actual arguments. That is the concept of call by value method. So here they are telling I and J values will have no effect on the values of A and B. So if you make changes to the I and J, it will not affect A and B. So if you look at the statement A and B before call and A and B after call, so it is same. right? A and B before function call 15 and 20, A and B after function call 15 and 20. Now, when we go for the next program, we will come to know how it will be affected. Because if you look at this program, you can say it is very simple. Anybody can say it will not affect it because separate memory is created for I and J separate memory, for A and B separate memory. If you make changes to I and J, it will not affect A and B. If you make changes to A and B, it will not affect I and J. That we can say. But in the next program, you will come to know how it will be changing. If you make changes to A and B, I and J, it will affect A and B also. I will just explain this program so that it will be clear for you. Okay, so this is called as object passed by reference. That means call by reference. Okay, call by reference means we will not send the value, we will send the object. When we send the object, it is called as reference. Okay, if you are sending the value, it is called as call by value. So objects are passed to methods by the use of call by reference. Changes made to the object inside the method do affect the object used as an argument. Do affect means whatever changes you made to the formal parameters will affect the actual parameters. The meaning of that is like that. Whatever changes made to the formal parameters will affect the actual parameters. In the previous program, whatever changes made to the formal parameters will not affect the actual arguments. Now we will see how exactly it happens here. Okay. So what we have taken, we will see the class first. Class test int AB. Okay. I have taken two variables A and B. Test of I and J. I and J are the parameters. A equal to A, B equal to J. Same thing, whatever we have used in the previous program. Okay. Next, see in this program I have not used constructor. So in this object call by reference I use the constructor. Next, pass an object. So word method. Here you just notice the difference what we have done. If you just notice the difference between this method that is used in this program and in the previous program. See in the previous program what I have used. I have not taken object here. I have taken normal variables. Okay, I have not taken object here, normal variables. I and J are normal variables. But when you go to this math function, I have taken object here. So how you can call that as an object? You will see just before that data type. Data type is a class name. Wherever data type is a class name, then whatever the variable you use, that becomes the object. So test is a class name, OB becomes the object. Okay. Next. So coming to the main function. Program execution starts from the main function. You have to trace the program by main function only. Okay. Test OB is equals to new test of 15, 20. So here 15 will be copied to I. Okay. 20 will be copied to J. Because constructor we are calling parameterized constructor. 15 and 20 are two parameters. So here I and J we have used two parameters. Okay. So I will receive the value 15, J will be receive the value 20. And in turn, I value will be copied to A, J value will be copied to B. So OB is an object created for which we have the variables A and B. So A will get the value 15, B will get the value 20. So in this diagram I explained, we just see. Okay. Test OB is equals to new test of 15, 20. 15 is copied to I, 20 will be copied to J. So I and J will be copied to A and B respectively. So OB is an object created where A value is 15, B value is 20. So OB is an object created where A value is 15, B value is 25. This much we have understood. Next you see same statements are there here before call and after call. So before call, what will be the value of A and B variables of object OB, and after call, what will be the values of A and B of object OB. So in between these two statements, I have written the call, that is method call. ob.math, that function starts working, that method starts working. So here when I say ob.math of OB, what happens here? We just look here. Object is passed here. Okay, this object is passed to the method. So on the receiving end also object should be there. Yes, you see on the receiving end. See, if suppose here if I write like int I, this is wrong. The method math, if I write int I, it is wrong because I variable belongs to integer type. Whereas if you look at this particular statement, okay, OB belongs to